So this average of 5 basically shows all of the improvement I've done on Sq1 and showcases everything I've learned on it so far. I've had a solve with 2 CP in this average of 5, 3 SPS plus solves, as well as CSP on every single solve. It's also quite monumental to me as well, since it's my first sub-NR average of 5, and completely smashes my old PB of 7.72. Unfortunately, it wasn't stackmatted, so it's a little bit less credible. Take it with a pinch of salt, it's still a 7.39 average of 5, and I'm really happy with it. So the first solve was kite right fist, and I actually mistraced this one. I thought I got an odd count, which would have led me to solve it like this. But in fact it was even, so I could have just done kite scallop in the front, which would have gotten me a very good solve since there was a CP skip, and it's just off W, I mean edge W. But I mistraced it and I got an 11.95, and it can just be ignored basically. The second solve was kite barrel, and after inspecting for CSP, I got an even parity count, which means I can do the easy solution. So I did a Z2, U prime, and then solved CS like that. And I actually got a CO skip as well. But I could have just done it with kite on top because these two corners would be preserved and all corners on the bottom would be solved. So for EO, I think this is called I and this is L, I'm not sure, but I solved EO like that. And then for PBL, I got Y and J, and this is something that I can actually do 2 CP with, which I just learned recently. Y was already in position, and I just needed to put the J on the left, and also preserve this block here, so I offsetted it like that. Then I did J, and then J again. The third scramble was also kite barrel, and after tracing, I also got an even parity count for this as well. I solved with kite on top instead. I got a 1 slice CO case, LLEO, and then I already knew that there were headlights at the back on the bottom layer, and there'd be a headlight on the top here, just from looking at it during EO. So I immediately did a U2 and did JJ at the back. Then I got op O. The fourth scramble was 411 and L. After inspecting for CSP, I got an odd count, and I don't know how to explain this, but basically if there's an odd count, and for this particular position, I'd do kite scallop in the front like this, and then solve. Then I got a 1 slice CO once again, LLEO, and then I knew that I'd have edge for CP, so I knew I can do a D prime immediately. And I also noticed that the top layer was a J, so I just kept this offset so that the top layer is solved, and then I did E prime on the bottom layer. And the last and final solve was L and 312. So I did a Z2 in the beginning to inspect for CSP. Once again, I got an even count, which means I solved through scallop, which would have looked something like this. Oh, sorry. Wait, no, it's down here. Then I got a 1 slice CO. And then I got this EO case, which I could have just cancelled into M2 if I offset the bottom layer here instead of the top. But I usually offset the top layer anyway. So I did M2 and then M2 again. I got J on the bottom and edge corners on the top. So I knew that the bottom layer would be solved, and I just needed to solve the top, which was just a U-prim, ABF, and then that was my final solve.